Good morning from Domaine La Tasque. Simon
Oh, good morning.
at the wheel and Jules safely behind the camera. So we are staying in the car. We're not going outside at this precise moment because it's, as you can see from those almond trees there, it's really, really windy. And we did a little test before and you couldn't really hear anything, even with, our very high-tech gadgets like dead cat and all that. You really couldn't hear very much. So we are going to do a little Landrover tour of our vineyards at Buade, which is near Bize-Minervois. So Bize-Minervois is just over that way. You can just maybe see the sort of edge of the village just over there, and the cars going down there are going between Minerve and on the way to Narbonne, really.
Well, it's rush hour, so quite a lot of them.
That's rush hour in the Languedoc, yes. Yeah, so starting our tour here, we've got a beautifully ploughed patch of earth there.
Yeah, ploughed and rotavated. Yeah.
And rotavated, yeah. Ready for planting. So we are going to be planting some Carignan Blanc there. So we already have Carignan Noir, and we're going to go for the white variety, which we're very excited to have some of that in our portfolio. We wanted to plant it with our other young vines a couple of years ago, but it's in very high demand and it's difficult to get hold of. So Boris, our plant provider, he managed to reserve us 250 plants for today. So that is what for this year. So that's what's going to be planted, hopefully this week.
Shall I head forward?
Yes. So on you go, Simon. Hi, Anna. Hi, Angie. So what we've got on both sides of the track here is the young vines that we planted in 2020. You can't really see them that well from here.
Oh, you can see the Tempranillo.
You can see it. So that is Tempranillo. Just out there, you can see that on the long wires there, it's got a few leaves poking out. Tempranillo is a grape that grows in Spain, the main grape in Rioja, and we just thought we'd plant a bit of it and see how it thrives here. There's a couple of producers that make Tempranillo and we like the wine, so we just thought we'd give it a go. On the other side here, you can see a bit clearer. That is Acertico, the Greek white variety that I've talked about. Again, trying it here because it's drought resistant and it keeps its acidity well, which is important for Languedoc whites. So really those young vines there, what we're trying to do, I'll show you up at the top there, I might even go out the car, is to establish the frame, the trunk of the vine this year. So talk about that in a minute. So I think we need to do some weeding, Simon. You think?
We're organic farmers. We've
always got to do weeding, yeah.
In fact, actually, that's something I'm going to start this week. So there's a big question at this time of the year about ploughing, because if you plough, you increase the risk of frost damage. But if we don't start soon, we're just going to get completely swamped by them. And so with our agronomist, we have decided that we're going to start ploughing, but keeping an eye on the 10-day forecast and see if the risk of temperature dipping comes around again. And if there's the remotest hint, well, we stop. But anyway, if you do plough and it rains, you're back to zero as well, back to square one, which is actually not a problem either. Anyway, here we are, coming up to the Acertico.
But this site here is it is quite a warm site because it's south facing, pretty much south facing. If you look over there right in the distance, it's the Mediterranean there, there's the Clap and the Mediterranean beyond it. And so the risk of frost here is relatively low. Plus we've looked at the long range forecast and there's last week was very cold, below freezing, but now it's warming up. And this wind we've got here comes from the sea, which means it's warm and it's wet, or relatively warm and wet. It's what they call a marin, so it's comes from the sea. So we're going to risk going out. Oh, hello, John Hughes.
All right, good morning, John.
We're going to risk nipping out to see these Acertico vines. Hopefully you'll be able to hear something. Come to the sunny south of France. Right, so see these lovely hopeful green leaves. So what we have here is a lovely straight potential trunk. So what we're going to do here is we're going to leave it for probably 2-3 weeks till these shoots get longer, and then we're going to keep 2 of the arms for potential for training up this fruiting wire. So you keep them to grow long. We'll end up removing that one and that one, I should think. And this one at the top we'll keep pinching it out to keep the vigour going from the roots to the end, the vigour all the way up to the top, but not so much that it puts too much effort into growing the top leaves. These are the 2 we want to develop the arms and the structure of the plant. So it's all about structure with the young vines, isn't it?
It's very windy. Can anybody hear?
Can anyone hear? Anyone say? Oh, I don't know.
Yeah.
Anyway,
it's so windy we can't hear them.
We'll just have a quick look at. You don't hear them; they send messages. Pretty loud. Sisters.
We're going to make a little tasting room here.
Yeah, tasting room.
Oh look, they're doing our.
Oh,
repairing
right.
our track. They've got washed away. Yes, with all the rain that we had, the track got washed away. So the mairie, I popped into the mairie to say, could you do something about it? And there they are.
Yeah, that little flashy light is their tractor putting their machine putting the sort of filling in the holes in the track, which were quite substantial, as I discovered when I went up here with my Mini the other day and realised there was a great big hole in the track, and I was worried I was going to disappear into it. Right, so here, this is Syrah, about 20 years old, and you can just see some of the little shoots there on those vines over there. And also, just move forward a little bit, Simon. I just want to see if there are any of the...
Just on this one here.
Yes, there. Don't know if you can see that vine nearest to us. Just there. There's that little sort of red thing. Just put it up again now. Attached to it. That is the little diffuser. Diffuses pheromones. In fact, I've got a packet of it here. It's for sexual confusion. Diffusers of pheromones for the fight for confusion sexuelle against Eudemis, which is the grapevine moth. So you saturate the vineyard with pheromones of the lady grapevine moths, and so the males can't find their mates, and so they don't reproduce, and so you don't get any of the larvae that burrow into the grapes and can pretty much destroy a crop, or certainly limit the yield and the quality significantly. That's the main nasty insect that we need to fight against. You can see these hopeful shoots coming out. So just going past here, there's our pluviometer measuring the rain. Empty at the moment, but we have got some rain forecast. Now this, you see, these are a bit more developed than the have developed a bit earlier than the Acetico vines we saw just up at the top there. This is Bourbelanc, which is a white grape variety which grows all throughout the Languedoc and Southern Rhone. And Le Clap, yeah, you can see that sort of flat, a long flat hill in the distance there, La Clap, which is between Narbonne and the Mediterranean. And it produces, it's a very dry area, and it produces lovely whites made from Bourbelanc and Roussanne, mainly. So we like the wines from there, so we thought we'd give it a go here.
This is why we have a Landrover.
Yeah, it's a bit bumpy, isn't it? Okay, the weeds here are a bit...
Yeah, it's always weedy.
So I think, yeah, here it's a little bit damper because right in the distance there at the far end you can see where all those bamboo is. There's well, it's a ditch which is sometimes a stream. So this is Grenache Gris, just a small vineyard of Grenache Gris. And you can see some of the vines in the distance there. Again, we have to develop the trunk on them this year. You can't see the ones, well, actually you can just see at the end there's a tiny little vine, so it's not as high. So what you do, if it hasn't quite got the vigor to start forming the trunk this year, what you do is cut it back to conserve the vigor, so that next year you'll be able to form the trunk. You then lose a year of production, but sometimes it's better to do that than to force the vine to grow up too quickly, as it were. So, Simon, do you have anything to say?
Not really. I think you've said enough.
No, so you're going to be busy over the next
I'm
few
going to be
days,
busy.
aren't you?
Yeah.
You've got to
Put some fertiliser down.
Yeah, because the little bit of wine we made last year was quite low in.
It was a bit low on nitrogen.
Nitrogen, yeah. So we're putting an organic fertiliser on all the vineyards that will increase.
Because it makes your life in the winery a bit easier then, doesn't it?
Yes, for the nutrients for the yeast, yeah. So it means that so we're putting some nitrogen organic fertiliser on the vines. You're probably going to do that.
That's if I can this week,
This week.
And then plough that
and
in.
then plough it in, having looked at the long range weather forecast. So the ploughing will remove obviously all the weeds in the middle there, and then in between the vines, how you need to remove it is by hand, which is very laborious and takes a long time, but it needs to be done, particularly when there's lots of water, when it is enough water in the soil. There's not so much competition, but when it gets drier, when there's less rain, you need to remove the weeds. Otherwise, the weeds will take away the water from the vines, and the vine won't thrive. So it's quite important to do that. Yeah.
Okay, well,
okay.
That's probably us done.
All right. Yeah. So you've got a busy week.
Well, I think you have as well.
Yeah,
and then we're bottling next week.
Yes, we're bottling. Yeah. We're doing a vineyard tour on Saturday, and then on the. With the other vignerons of Mayak, and then on Tuesday we're bottling.
Yep.
Next Tuesday. Might do a little mini live from there.
Yep.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. Over and out. Goodbye.
Bye. Bye.